Hey crew, here's a little unusual clip for you for some of this rough and tumble training, but I think you're going to find it's going to work for your other footwork when you go back into standard bag. First off, let's make sure you understand why I'm in this curious posture right here. Tilt down a little bit. I am standing on top of a 6x6, which we know for some reason lumber measurements really means 5.5 by 5.5. Go figure. I'm approximately 4 feet off the ground, so no big deal. This thing's not anchored in, so it's got some wobble to it, which is what we want. Again, this clip is best consumed if you read the article that goes along with the legends, the one that's talking about power, historical combat and balance training, balance and power training. It's going to make a lot more sense. We discuss all the different ways some of these ideas were applied, and also through many different systems. And also keep in mind, this stock still training we're going right here. Yes, footwork is primary key. Mobility is key whenever we're talking about doing any sort of power training. So I'm not saying we need to learn to stay stock still and stuff. We're just trying to make sure that if we want to find out if we really want to build some nice base and balance out of our power, we need to, some old school thought is put yourself into some precarious positions. Make sure you can still generate a modicum or respectable amount of power out of that. So whenever you're going back and applying this to your footwork and your mobility, the idea behind it is you come up with a lot more oomph and wallop on it. Okay, now I've been playing with this rail work for a little bit now, and it's already paid huge dividends. By the time you get back on flat ground, full mobility, when you set into your punches, it feels nice and tight because you got no wobble underneath you. Now, if you're wanting to do this rail training, start tilting up as I stand this thing up here. You can either run a heavy bag hanging from a high position so you can bang on the heavy bag, which is a simple thought. You guys know how to do that. Another thing, if you don't have a limb high enough to throw the heavy bag, grab yourself a pad or something here. I've just taken an old kick shield and just square knotted this thing onto the trunk of a tree limb. Obviously, you can run this padding all the way around. Ooh, almost came down on top of you there. In this case, just to show one idea of what I'm talking about, is get your position on top of whatever you're using for your rail training. You don't have to use 6x6. You can start out with 12 inches if you want. Hell, if you got great balance, go to the 2x4 on edge, or hell, or if you got a slack line, whatever floats your boat. The key is we're trying to find out if we can still generate power by standing on a very small bit of base, and also at the same time, I've got a little bit of wobble in it by design because I like the idea of it, kind of throwing me off kilter. I'm squatting down again here a little bit. Keep in mind, you have to start out with some elevation. Ideally, you can take your 6x6, set it on the ground in front of your heavy bag, in front of your partner with the focus pads, and then go to work that way. But the idea behind the elevation is it starts putting some skin in the game, because you'll start throwing really hard within 3 or 4 rounds whenever you got this rail on the ground. You elevate this a little bit, then all of a sudden you get a little bit of flutter in your soul, and also we've got this thing ratcheted up so we can play at 4 feet. Hell, if you just take it to 5, if you take it to 6 feet, you start going, things start feeling iffy. That makes it fun, of course. Let's take it back up. These ideas, all I'm going to do is throw a few lead hooks to the body against this pad here to give you the idea. But we all know the good lead hook should have more power than this. But our idea behind throwing them from this rail position is make sure that we can find enough power while we're still in this precarious position, have some control out of our base with the whole thing. And again, we're not advocating you boxing, standing stock still, but work all year round. I'm talking about throw that heavy bag up high, really work that thing, move up and down on your rail, get to where you can move around with that thing, take it back to the floor level, and I think you might find you got a whole new animal. If not anything, you had fun by doing something different. Hope you have fun with that one.